Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher.
And welcome back. I'm Mike with the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially back in session. And we are here with a brand new guest speaker episode, and I am so excited to have Hex joining us today. If you're a fan of the show, you already know he's kind of already been doing some work with us. He's got mixing tips with Hex with the Right Mind series, so a brand new series that just dropped. And I figured, hey, you know what? If he's helping us out, we got to give the man an interview. And obviously, he's not only a brilliant engineer, but also a fantastic up-and-coming artist. And once again, I'm just really, really thrilled to have Hex on once again.
Thank you so much,
but
Thank you.
this time for the interview portion of it, of course. So
Yes, sir.
What's going on, man? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Can't complain. Just everyday grind over here, as I'm sure you know. But
Yes, sir.
yes, so obviously you, like I said, you're an engineer. You do a lot of mixing and mastering. When we've obviously had a whole episode on that, and you're going to be giving us some tips and really any of our listeners some tips on engineering. So we'll talk a little bit about that, on the back burner of this episode. But I did want to dive in first to just, you as an artist, be the first and foremost. And I obviously want to shout out our mutual friend here, Jack DeConza, who funny how life works, because I coached Jack when I was at Framingham High when I was coaching basketball. He was a junior in high school. We stayed in touch. And I would see every once in a while him post some of your beat. I think you were either making beats or what were you doing again? You were singing, making beats. What were you doing at that point?
I was producing for another artist named Matty Owens. Shout out Matty Owens, he's fire. But yeah, I was like, cause like I had just when I was on my way into college, I started making beats. So around that time, I was like super heavy into making beats. Didn't even think about being an artist, and he was like pretty much like the middleman between me and Matty, because Matty Owens is also from Framingham, and then that just got me into making beats. So he was probably posting Matty's songs with my beats at the time that you're talking about, I'm pretty sure. If not, then like a year later, I started actually becoming an artist after that. So it could have been that, but I'm pretty sure it was just pretty much the stuff I produced.
Yeah, I definitely think that's what it was. Either that or I think there was around a time too you started kind of fooling around with some singing and rapping and things like that. So yeah, for context, you were obviously at UMass with Jack, and so is that really kind of at what point did you kind of realize like maybe I can actually start being an artist? Maybe I'm actually a talented vocalist rather than just a producer.
Yeah, so I mean like growing up, I got my first guitar when I was in 3rd grade, like picked it up super quick. Like I've always been like a super musical person. Like I guess like it stopped when I like got to high school. Like middle school, I was doing like singing and playing guitar, like talent shows and stuff. And like I'd say I was pretty good. I think I was better in like 7th grade before I hit puberty than I was now, because like my girly little boy voice was like chef kiss. But yeah, I stopped that when I got in high school. Like I was playing basketball a lot, like we talked about before.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I was heavy into basketball, so like I had that mindset of like, oh, like singing and playing guitar, that's not cool. Like and then after high school, I was like, dang, basketball's over. Like I have no hobbies anymore, so I gotta pick something up, because like I'm a Gemini. We get bored easily, so
yeah.
So I picked up making beats, and it's just a year later after I think Matty like took like a little break from making music at the time. So I was like, like I don't know what the hell what am I gonna do? Like I'm just gonna make beats for nobody. Like, and I wasn't heavy into like trying to sell anything. So I was like, like I don't know what to do. And then I thought back, like I've sang before, like I've thought about singing. I've just never like taken that leap. And I think Matty taking that break for a little bit and forcing me to like be creative, I was like, all right, I'll just produce for myself. So that's when it started. Like it was like January 2019.
Oh wow.
January 2019, I put out my first song. Yeah.
Oh wow, so pretty like not super recent, but within the last 2 years or so.
Yeah, like a year and whatever, 8 months or 9 months.
Yeah. Well, that's such a cool like little thing, like almost because like you said, it's one of those things where you wanted to keep doing it, and same with me. Like I always, it's funny how things come around, because I for a while was doing, in high school especially, was doing like video editing. I was huge into that, like video and audio editing, and then all of a sudden like. But again, like you said, like I was bigger into basketball than that, and then obviously, hindsight's 2020. We don't realize that the sports end at some point. Even though I'm still coaching, it's like,
facts.
yeah, exactly. The sports end at some point, and yeah, it's actually really funny. This podcast started in January 2019 as well. So
really, we got the same birthday. Let's go.
Let's go. I love that. Yeah, same birthday for Turntable teachers and Hex.
Yes.
I actually never. I hate asking this question because I feel like this is something I should have already known. But just hitting me now, I'm curious. Where did Hex come from?
So everybody asks me because like I guess like if you didn't know me, like really know me, you wouldn't really like have a clue or put any of it together. But Hex comes from hexadecimal. For coding. It's like some nerdy shit. So yeah, I was like wicked big into coding, and I in high school, and then I went into computer science at UMass. Going into UMass, I ended up changing my major because like I realized like I didn't actually like want to do that as a career, so I switched. But I started like my grades were like going way down like in computer science because it was so hard, and at the time we were learning about hexadecimal something, I don't even remember. And I was like, all right, like what, like I was trying to come up with a name. I was like, what relates to me? And I was like, and it has to be some like nerdy shit on the down low, because like I'm a super big geek. So then I was like, all right, like let's look up like coding stuff, because like I was big into coding at the time. So then I was like, hexadecimal, oh, that's what we're learning about in class. So, like how can, and then I was like, hex, that's perfect. So then I was like, all right, bet.
I feel like
it wasn't like this dear to the heart, like I don't know, my godfather's name that passed away or something, like super like it was just really like I just like looked on Wikipedia like a bunch of like coding terms, and then was like, all right, hexadecimal. I shortened it to hex. And then the reason why it's H3x not HEX is because when I was originally HEX, so it was like beats by HEX, and then like that's when I was producing, and then I looked up when I was becoming an artist. I wanted to have like a main artist Instagram, so like everything with the word hex with an E in it was completely taken, like because like Instagram is such a broad platform, so like all the names that were taken that I wanted to take, and I wasn't trying to do like hex _ 351 _ like,
right.
Yeah, so I ended up looking on Apple Music and was like, all right, like I see people put like numbers as letters, and like that ends up coming out cool. Like black, for example, is like 6 lakh, and like stuff like that. So I was like, all right, like maybe to make me more unique, I can do H3x. And then I looked up on like when I was signed up for DistroKid and stuff to like post my music. It worked perfect because like there was like I forget the number, but there was a ton of HEX, and there was only like 20 H3x. So like artists with that in their name. So like it was perfect. And now like when you look me up, I'm number 1 as like H3x. So like anytime someone looks at my name, I'm the top, which is awesome. So it worked out perfect.
I love that story. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
And it's good that though at least you started that you didn't start with the number like black, because he can't get away from that now. It's like he's almost like 6 lakh to almost everybody.
People call me H3x all the time. Like I don't really mind as long as they spell it right when they type it in to listen. That's all I care about.
as long as they type it in, listen to the music, right? They get to that point. That's all that matters, right? That's funny. I like that too, because your name has to work for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it has to kind of be a like an extension of who you are, right? So that's super cool. Like, you're obviously wearing the Star Wars shirt right now. As we're talking to anybody that's on that.
Yeah. You see the Death Star in the background right here.
I'm now noticing it now. Yes, I just noticed that for the first time. Yeah. So anybody that's not listening to the audio version, not the YouTube version. Hex is in a nice Star Wars t-shirt. And you're also, in a lot of your promotional videos on YouTube, not YouTube, Instagram, You're always in a Rick and Morty shirt, which we bonded over that too. Like,
yeah.
you and I,
Rick and Morty, like
yeah,
everything.
you and I have a lot more in common than I ever realized, because I never knew you were a hoops guy, and like we talked it like the last time we did the mix by Hex, or excuse me, mixing tips with Hex. That's your thing, not mine.
Yeah.
Mixing tips with Hex. I don't want to rebrand you. The mixing tips with Hex with us. We must have talked for like 2 hours after we did that first episode, and I didn't know you were a hoops guy, and then. But yeah, same breath too. I'm a huge Rick and Morty fan, like huge. That show, bro,
it's the best show, dude.
Next level.
It's so good.
It is. It's so funny. Like even people that I wouldn't expect to like it, like I got even like my girlfriend into it a little bit. Like did not expect her to like it at all, and she's just like, all right, this is kind of funny and clever. Like I fuck with this.
Yeah, like my girlfriend is like, she hates stupid comedy, like hates it. So like when I showed her, I had to like explain it at first and like kind of ease her into it. And then at first she's like, all right, it's growing on me a little bit. And then I was like, see, this is why it's the best. Like it grows on everybody.
I mean, you have really. I personally, I don't know about you, but I start everyone that doesn't know Rick and Morty. I start them on Pickle Rick because
dude, same. It's like the most mainstream one, so like you have to.
Yeah. What's like your favorite episode, Rick and Morty, if you had to?
I like Anatomy Park a lot, just because the ending when he explodes and shit, and like it's just mad funny. I love that one.
The John Oliver cameo in that, awesome.
Yeah. And then what was the Morty's Mind Blowers? I thought that one was funny too.
Morty's Mind Blowers.
That one was the most messed up, I think. Like that one was crazy. And I also like Interdimensional Cable, the first one.
Yeah.
Because like it's just cool. Like they just like all the improv, and like you can just tell like they're just having so much fun in the studio recording that, and it's just so cool.
I know, dude. That show, like, it is so out there. Like, it really is. But honestly, in just like the best way. Like, I'm so obsessed with it. Me personally, I really liked from the new season. I really liked the heist one. I thought that one was fucking hilarious, dude.
Yes, that one was not funny.
That one's really good. Yeah. And then, and then the one where what's it called? Sleepy Gary and all that. Yeah. That one, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but that one's a good one too. Yeah. But anyway, if you haven't watched Rick and Morty, guys, anybody that's listening to this,
you have to.
You have to, and then also like you know exactly what we're talking about if you have been you've been watching and you're a fan of Rick and Morty. So anyway, but hey, man, like we're all nerdy about certain shit. You know what I mean? Like there's certain I know nerd stigma.
You can't just
is
be like I don't pay
Star
attention.
Wars and numbers and all that shit. But yeah, I mean,
you have to pay attention to some shit outside of music. You know, it has to be like a little bit diverse. Like.
Oh yeah. You got to like relax and let loose a little bit sometimes. You know what I mean? Just kind of just enjoy life. You know what I mean? And Rick and Morty certainly gives me that for sure. But so no, that's really cool, man. I actually never really knew that story. Not something I even plan on asking you, but I just off the top of my head, I was like, I forgot to ask him, like, why Hex? That makes sense. I love that.
Yeah, it's a cool story. You know?
So you started in January 2019, same as us, right? So same birthday, love it.
Yes.
And then, flash forward to now, you're here. You've dropped a plethora of singles this year. Your numbers on not only Spotify, Instagram, all that have just risen in the last year. I feel like I've even watched you grow as I've really, kind of got reacquainted with you this past year. Because again, you always looked familiar to me, and then I was like, no way, that's the dude that was like messing around when Jack was posting stuff
on the machine, like the beat machine.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm looking at you now, and I'm like, oh wow, this is awesome. And I really was messing with a lot of your music. Like I know earlier on in the year, the Dear Dad song that you dropped, we reviewed that, and like that's how we really got to talking like big time, because you thought our review was good and spot on and all that good stuff, and ever since, man, you've been just dropping single after single. You dropped Fade Away, Tell Me Lies with by Cronin, You Said, Way Up, New Love. You have so many new singles coming out. So I was just wondering, so what's kind of your mindset or your thought process for dropping music this year? Like why have you chosen to go the single route?
Last year I started, I've had 3 different ways. When I first started, I was like so torn to whether I should just start off with a huge bang with like an album or something, like, because I was like, I really like how these songs are coming out. Like, I've never written music in my life. Like, I wrote my first song. I used to write like parody songs in my dorm, like talking about like, I don't know, like screwing bitches and like, you know, like just like fake, like, just because I was making beats, and me, Jack, and like our other friend Eddie would like just like make the stupidest lyrics on top of beats and stuff. And like, that was the only songwriting experience I ever had. I've never written a song in my life other than those stupid songs that I would write sometimes for fun, because I just knew how to like work the software when we were really bored. But like, literally, like when I first started dropping music, I was like, these songs are really good. Like, compared, like they exceeded my expectations because I was so new. I thought they would be ass. And then, so I was like, I don't want to, I want everybody to like take advantage and like take in what I have to say, but like at the same time, like not just judge me off one song. So like, that's like the thing with albums versus singles. It's like when you drop an album, a lot of the times people will skip through and stuff like that. We talked about it. Like, I used to be like that so much, where like I would skip around and like not really take in what the artist has to say. But I've grown now that I make music. I understand the respect of like going from top to bottom. So when you do singles, it's like they're forced to take in the song, no matter what the song is. Like, if they listen, they listen. But with albums, it's like when they hear the intro and they're like, this doesn't really seem that good. Let me see what the next one's about. You know, like, it gives them too many options. So when I was first dropping, I just tried to do like a middle approach where I would drop, I dropped 3 songs. Well, I technically posted them in like December, but then like I didn't announce them till like beginning of January, because I wanted them all out at the same time. So I had 3 songs out. So it was like pretty much like an EP, but like not really, because they were separate. They weren't under the same name, so they had to be taken in individually. So I did that, and then I did 2 songs another time, like the month after, and then after that I was like, okay, now I can start making an album, because like that was working. People were actually listening to all of the songs. And then so then I made an album, and that sucked, because like that was like, I thought the album was, at the time I thought the album was good. Now I listen back and I'm like shivering, like compared to my stuff now. I like my stuff now way more. But like when I dropped the album, it was like if you look at the streaming numbers, the first half of the album is like double the second half. So it's like, I was like, Jesus, like I literally just put so much time into, I could have just done half the songs, you know,
True.
if that was the case. So it was like frustrating. So that's why after that I took like, it was like a month and a half before I dropped one song, and then I dropped Show Love with Cronin. And then I took another month and then dropped a bunch, like weekly. No, I was doing bi-weekly this year, but like last year at the end of the year, I was doing weekly. So I did like 6 weeks in a row, I think, of music. Wow. And it was like 5 or 6. And then I thought that worked a lot better, because it was like I said, it's like getting a ton of music, but they have to digest it as singles instead of like the album approach where they can skip. So that's like my philosophy now, is like, I'm not really focused on dropping an album anytime soon until like I really start growing. Like, I only have like, I'll bounce around between like 1,000 monthly listeners and like 2,000 or 3,000, like depending on like if a song gets on a playlist or something. Clearly, sure, I'm gonna get more monthly listeners. But like, once I get like into like the 10s, 20s, 30,000s, like as I grow like that, like I would love to start dropping albums. But like, it's just not worth my time right now, because I can put out singles and they'll probably make a better impact numbers wise to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, even your singles have been doing fairly well, and New Love is your latest one. And I think that's approaching at the moment we're recording this like around 5,000 streams, if I'm not mistaken.
I got that on a big or 2 big playlists by Bangers Only. Okay. So they're such a cool platform. Everybody, if you are looking for new music, they literally are so cool about supporting up and coming artists. It's just Bangers Only, like just those 2 words, no special spelling or anything. And they have I've been featured, me and Cronin are for Tell Me Lies got featured on their YouTube page, which has like 800K on YouTube right now. And them and Promoting Sounds too. I haven't gotten on Promoting Sounds. They're definitely a sick platform too, but they're very similar. They're just like really heavy on like promoting underground artists that are like up and coming and like kind of fit their vibe. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, and I think this sound that you've been going for over the last 6 months to 8 months or so, I think is super accessible to nowadays, right? I think that you have definitely found a pocket in a lot of these songs and kind of found a not a niche, but you know, you've really figured out like you have this nice blend of hip hop, R&B, but in pop really too. I think the pop aspect of your music definitely makes it accessible for a lot of people. I think it's a nice entry level into, if you're not even a hip hop fan, I think your music would be a nice entry level into somebody that might maybe want to dive into hip hop that's not usually a hip hop fan. So,
or even I like make those songs with the new listener in mind. Like for example, Tell Me Lies, Somebody Worth It, like Life's a Song I dropped in like February or March or something, I forget, but like those songs have like kind of like Tell Me Lies is like dance hall, like Somebody Worth It has like Chainsmokers vibes. Like those are types of like songs that like the average person can listen to and be like, oh, whether they like my lyrics, my voice or anything, like as long as I'm on pitch and like the beat is somewhat blend together, like those styles, like you can't really go wrong with. And like that's, I'm not trying to ride that wave because like clearly like it's really hard to differentiate yourself because there are heavy hitters in that area already. But I make those songs with like like I just feel like making a really fun song that like I know a lot of people that haven't listened to me will still enjoy. You know?
Exactly.
So,
oh, for sure. Yeah. And I think that message and really that sentiment kind of comes off when listening to your music. I mean, and then like I think you add a lot of great dynamics to a lot of your songs. Like for example, like my favorite song of yours is definitely Fade Away. Like what you've come out with so far. Like you know this, like we know this. Obviously people that listen to the first mixing episode, like that's the one we used. And for me, I just love the way you kind of you integrated the vocal sample. I thought a lot of the like vocal effects that you put on your vocals and your singing, like that really helped a lot too. And I just think that overall that track came together for really, again, a nice accessible mainstream listen that a lot of people could, like I said, listen to and enjoy no matter what genre they're in, you know? So that was one of my personal favorites. Did you have any, like, out of what's come out this year, like what's been kind of either a highlight for you or like maybe one of your favorite songs that's dropped so far this year?
So it's hard to say. I mean, like I because you can think of it two ways. Like for one, like the one that's the most near and dear to my heart, it's clearly either Fade Away or Dear Dad, because those two have like the realest lyrics. But
yes,
as far as like fun to listen to, like I'd say New Love or Tell Me Lies, because like those are like New Love actually has like a really deep message behind it, but like it has that like trappy beat, so like it has like more of a mainstream feel to it. But Fade Away and Dear Dad, like they really dive deep into like the way I think and stuff like that, and like what I think about like my path and like what I've had to like experience like within myself, like trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life like everybody else. And so like those are clearly my favorites for those reasons. Actually, Life's a Song, you know what's funny is like I think Life's a Song was one of my best songs, and it has like one of the lowest amount of listens, which is weird to me because like I think the whole song I talk about me leaving school, but like without actually saying I left school, you know. Well, like I just talk about the experience.
Well, that, you know, and that's I'm so glad you said that, because with my students, when a lot of us are working with the college essays right now. I have seniors, and one of the things I keep harping on them is, you know, when you're writing these essays, and this is kind of ironic, but because you left college, but then I'm even bringing this up, but like I tell my students, like, show, don't tell. That's really the big thing, right? Like, so in a song or whether it's that or it's like, if you're telling me something in a song, like, great, whatever, like that's cool. You told me about, you know, how your night was. But if you're explaining to me like your emotions, your feelings, like what you were going through at the time, like you're getting introspective like that, showing somebody what that actually looks like or what that feels like, that's just so more impactful and powerful than anything. So
Yeah.
I love that approach.
That's something I'm working on, because like that's the hardest thing in lyricism, is being able to take, okay, this song is about X, like just something, you know, and then like trying to say, how can I convey this to someone without saying, guess what, this song is about leaving school, this song is about like feeling lost, this song, you know, you have to like figure out a way to like be like, I go through this and I feel this way. And they have to put together in their heads, oh, that means that the song has a message of this, you know, like they have to like put it. I'd rather like everybody would rather put together a puzzle piece instead of just be handed a song theme on a silver platter, because like it takes away the point of the song, you know. If they wanted to listen to a song that they didn't have to think about, they would go listen to like more poppy records. So those types of records, like you have to like be aware that like people do want to try to put together your pieces. So
absolutely. No, I completely agree with that. And I mean, that's part of the reason I think why I like Fade Away so much, because it's more focusing on like mental health and, you know, where you're at, and just as like a, you know, as your day-to-day person, and just kind of getting through the trials and tribulations of life, really, and feeling like you might like fade away at some point. Like, you know, some days, like I love, like, you know, I want to smile, but I can't feel my face, like stuff like that. Like that's just such a, like that's
I've had people hit me up and be like, dude, do you do cocaine? When they heard the song, I was like, dude, no, what the hell?
Well, I think people originally used that with The Weeknd when he had the Can't Feel My Face song. You know what I mean?
I was like, what the hell? I was like, okay, I know why you're asking Can't Feel My Face like that, but like, I was like, no, I don't do cocaine.
I personally didn't take it like that, but I totally see what you're saying, because like that,
that's funny.
Mr. Abel certainly, you know, depicted that on his Beauty Behind the Madness single there. So that's you know, people kind of associate that with that now. But no, I knew what you were going for. I get it. I liked it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Yeah, and even like the new love song, man, I think that, you know, it definitely is relatable for a lot of people, right? I mean, especially if you are, you know, you're coming out of a relationship or you're going into a new one, like that's a scary time. Either way, like either thing, like, because it's such a life change, and so you know, we've all been there, and it's just such one of those moments where you're kind of questioning, like, you know, do I trust myself in this? Do I trust the other person in this? And it has to go both ways, or else it's not going to work. You know what I mean? So it's so hard to kind of balance that.
I've heard, like, you know what's a coincidence is that literally I set the song to drop, and then like I think it was that night I went to go hang out with like some old friends, and from high school that like I hadn't talked. Well, like I had like talked to them like, oh hey, how you doing? Like, but like I hadn't actually sat down and talked to them like about their lives and stuff. And like one of them was a girl, and she was saying that she had gone through something similar, where like she was very blindsided in her relationship, where like she thought it was going so well and she was so in love, and then all of a sudden it like ended, and like she was like so broken, and she was like she was saying, I know that next time, like how hard it's going to be next time I go into a relationship, because I'm going to have this traumatic experience in the back of my mind the whole time. And like I was telling her, like, you have to listen to my next song, like it literally relates perfectly, like that's literally what the song's about. Like I haven't personally gone through it, but like I know my girlfriend has, and like it's like I feel like it's a very common thing, like for people to, it doesn't even have to be about relationships. Like people go through shit all the time, and like no matter how wealthy, poor, like discriminated, not discriminated, like you have to like everybody has this certain battle that they have in their life, every individual person, and like it ends up affecting you down the road. And like that song, you even though it's geared towards like relationships, like it can be taken in like every different way. So
yeah, and I really like that you tapped into something that you personally hadn't gone through and still conveyed it in a way that was tangible and accessible, and really made sense to someone like me who has gone through something like that, right? So it's like I just kind of not assumed, but because you spoke about it so well and conveyed it so well, it's just like, oh, okay, like he's been through this before. But that's really great that you were able to actually kind of put that into a song that made that just was able to, I think, relate to a lot of people. I think that's going to be really important. actually, do you mind? Would you care if we played a clip of it for the listeners right now?
Yeah, it's totally. That's
awesome. Awesome. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. Here is Hex's brand new single, New Love. Take a listen.
Oh, baby, these are the scars that trauma leaves. Call me crazy, but I don't want you to see what they did to me. Now you want all of me. It's too bad I can't let go of these memories. For so long we laughed, heart broke, time passed. Got no hope that will last. Too scared, too fast. You stopped, I saw that. I lean in, you pull back. New love, I never thought I'd fall again. I get caught up in my lucid dreams. God likes to play all these games with me. Insecure about us. All this talk about trust seems a little too much for a new love.
And that was New Love, so make sure you guys go stream that on all platforms. We're going to link it in the description for you guys. It's all, like I said, all on all platforms. Make sure you guys go check it out. Support this man. Support all the singles he's been dropping this year.
Yes, sir.
You got some really, really great stuff. Like I said, I mean, I've been a fan of a lot of your singles, and every time you drop, I'm always in tune. I'm like, ooh, what do you? It's like a.
Thank you. I love people like that. That's the best. That's the best support.
Yeah. Oh, of course, man. Well, and it's just like I said, it's so great to see you even try like different sounds and different like song structures and things like that. Like I said, like we talked about this, like obviously with a song like Dear Dad, I thought you gave me some like real big Logic vibes. You've mentioned a song like having Chainsmoker vibes. I think the New Love song has more like the Kid Laroi, Juice
because that's what I've been listening to. I told you last time off camera. I literally have been on such a Leroy kick lately, so like that was like it was like so natural to come out because like that's what I've been consuming. So
sure,
like,
it's what you've been influenced by, no doubt. So no, I seriously think that you were able to really kind of portray a lot of great messages in your songs, and they're not, even though they're like sonically accessible, they're much deeper than just the average song you would hear on the radio. So that's why I really mess with your music, and I think you have such a bright future. And I just think it's like a matter of getting the spotlight on you as an artist, man. I really do, and I think, and of course as an engineer too.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you're not the people. I know a lot of people in this scene, and some people that I know speak very highly of you as an engineer. In case you didn't know.
Thank you. Yeah, no,
and,
that's lit.
Yeah. So obviously you've been doing work with us. You've been doing. We just started a brand new little mini series. We're going to be doing some mixing tips with you and taking us through about half-hour long segments on mixing and things like that. Not that it's going to be the end all be all, right? You guys have to if you're into producing and engineering or just music creation in general, like definitely a series you want to stay in tune with. Again, not the end all be all. You're not going to learn everything. It's just probably impossible for us to give you everything. But he's going to give us probably at least a handful, if not half a dozen or so. Really great tips that to give you guys a sort of at least a baseline where you can kind of start to really implement some of the things that Hex is going to be teaching us. I mean, I'm even learning great things. I mean, I'm taking a back seat on this one for sure. Like I am not the expert whatsoever. So. But you've had a lot of history and really experience, engineering and things like that. And you worked at a studio for a while. So I was just curious, like, did the engineering part kind of coincide with the producing, or did that kind of come later? Like, when did you kind of just be like, I'm going to start mixing and mastering myself? Like, where was that process for you?
So how I started was I was producing. I didn't even know. I would see like on my software, it's Machine. I don't know if you've heard of Machine for like producing.
I haven't.
It's just like any other, like it's like Logic, like any other software for music making, but it was like integrated with like the beat pad with like all the pads on it. So on the little screen on the thing, it would be like, oh, like effects. So I'd be looking through all the effects when I'm making beats and stuff, and like I would be putting stuff on my beats that I didn't even know what they would do, but I'd be like, this sounds cool. Like, I don't even know. Like, and like it was like things like limiters, like EQs, like compressors, like all these like super complex, like mixing tools. And like, I had no idea what they were. So, but I knew like that they existed. I saw the names. So when I then went with Maddie to a studio in Framingham, it was for Seventh Wonder. I don't know if you've heard of him, but
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, he's the GOAT. But
Yeah, amazing. Wow. Okay, I'm listening. Continue.
I literally like, he didn't teach me like directly, but like what I would do is I would show up there and I would literally just like pop a chair right near him and then just like go like this and just watch what he was doing, because after I went the first time with Maddie, I was fascinated with, I had the demo song of like Matt mixing it, and then but like Matt wasn't like a huge engineer or anything. He just kind of like toyed around to make his vocals sound clean enough. Like I think right now, when the stuff he's putting out now, it sounds a lot cleaner than what his engineering front was when I was working with him. But he would give the song to Seventh, like any studio, you bring the stems and they do their thing. And like, I was like blown away. I was like, how is that even possible? Matt like literally is like a Billboard artist right now. Like, and like, shut up, Matt should be a Billboard artist. He's fire. But from the demo, it was like, I was like, they don't even sound like the same song. So then I was like hooked. I was like, I want to know how to do that for other people, because like, it was just cool to me. Like just making someone sound 20 times better than they do raw. Like that's like what engineers are for. So I then parked my chair, watched. I still had no idea what anything was. But then when I started becoming my own artist, that's who I went to mix my stuff. So me and him had a relationship. So throughout the session, I'd be like, oh, why did you EQ that? Like what type of delay is that? Like I would ask like little questions to like build up a little bit of knowledge. Then he would kind of like just while he was doing things, he'd be like, oh, I'm just doing this because this. And then like, it really helped me gain like, not like I couldn't go home and be like, bet now I know how to mix. Like it's way deeper than that. But like,
sure,
he gave me all the vocabulary pretty much. Like that was like pretty much what I was missing in order to learn. And from there, when he moved to Houston. So then that was perfect timing, because that was right around the time when I was starting to learn how to mix. Because like I knew he was moving. He gave me like a heads up, and he was like, I can still mix your stuff remotely, like kind of like what I do now. But I was like, I love that. And then I thought in my head, like, respect to him, like clearly, like I would want people to come to me, but like if they're learning how to mix on their own, they're not going to learn from sending stuff to me, because I'm just going to do it for them. Like there's no learning process in that. So that's why I did that, where I was like, I'm not going to send stuff to him. I'm going to do it myself, and I don't care how bad it turns out, because I know that eventually it won't sound bad from practice. So that was like I'd say last July. So like pretty much after my album.
Okay.
Last July was around when, because that was when he moved like August or something, beginning of August. So right before he moved, I was like binging YouTube videos like till 2 a.m. every night, like this, like like my eyes were like burnt out. And then I put out Show Love, and that was the first song I ever mixed. And it was such a crazy experience, because like I had never actually taken a song from zero to hero before. Like that was like my first time ever doing something like that. And then from there I was like, bet I don't ever need an engineer ever again.
That's so dope. And then now you can do it all yourself, and like
I'm way like, I listen back to Show Love, I'm like, oh, these vocals are too bright, like there's too much compression here. Like It's so funny, like, but like back then I was like, holy shit, I did it. Like it sounds cool, like it sounds real. But like, yeah, it's just a crazy, like it was a crazy roller coaster learning so much. And I'm no expert whatsoever. Like there is so much stuff I can still learn, and I will learn. And I'm excited to see how I grow, not only from last year to now, but from now to next year, you know?
And beyond that too. Like you make a good point. Like, you know, when do you really master something? No pun intended.
Never.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when do you master a skill? Like it takes a lot of time. Like even for me, like, you know, video editing, just like being a podcast host, all that stuff. Like I don't feel as though I have hit, you know, my potential ceiling. Like, or I don't know if I'll ever feel like that, because I think there's just this thing like having between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. It's so important. Like not being satisfied where you're at, knowing that you can always improve, you can always get better, is really a great testament for anybody trying to do any skill or learn any new thing, right? So
Yeah.
it's really important to realize, like, yeah, I mean, like personally, I can't really tell the difference just because I think
it's not a consumer thing. It's like at
Yeah.
that point, it's like if you're like for me, it's like my mix is 5 years from now. Like nobody's gonna listen back to my old music as a consumer. For example, someone like you who like has a music understanding but doesn't really have much of an engineer background.
Right.
You're gonna listen to the two songs and be like, they both sound fine to me. You know?
Exactly.
So like that's why I'm cool. Like I'm cool. I was cool with where I was last August. A year ago, even though I knew it was my first song I ever mixed and it was probably a garbage mix. Like I just knew that when I hit play on the speakers, it didn't sound like absolute trash. You know, I hear
Right.
some kids and like they literally just hit record, say their lines, and then just slap on like just crank up the reverb, and they're like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah,
And then it's like
absolutely.
then their song actually sounds like shit. They could be the most talented person in the world, but the song is bad, not because the songwriting or the production or their singing is bad. It's strictly because everybody else has their songs engineered, but you don't, you know? And
Exactly.
like it's like you're going on a soccer field and wearing basketball shoes. It's like I don't care how good you are, like you're missing the tools to actually like you could be way bigger than everybody else if you just have those like that equipment, that like knowledge, like, you know, or outsource it. Like I always said, like my marketing, like for my mixing stuff is like my whole saying is like maximize your potential. So like every artist, like they have so much potential, right? Like clearly, like I can't sing like Christina Aguilera, but like I can sing as good as I can sing. But if my engineering is garbage, my singing is gonna sound way worse
Right.
than
Exactly.
if it was engineered. So like I like the main thing about mixing and stuff is like the only reason to have a knowledge in it is just maximize how you sound. So yeah,
No, I love
that's
that.
my little
and
engineering spiel.
Say again?
That's my little engineering spiel. I always say that to like, people will be like, my girlfriend will go through like her Spotify and shit. And then like randomly one song will come up, like, cause Spotify is cool about like showing other artists and stuff. But like the mix is bad for like some underground artists. Like the mixes are really bad.
Yeah, definitely.
And then she'll be like, oh my God, this sounds so bad. Like I can hear like, oh, this guy's good, but it just sounds bad. But like to her, it's like, this is bad. That's all they care.
Exactly.
Like consumers care about, they look at the big picture and they're like, is this good or is this bad? And then most of the time, those types of songs end up being bad. So
Yeah, like I'm starting to understand that too. Like even with some of the artists that I work closely with that send me, you know, unreleased stuff, I'm now listening for stuff like that. Like I'm like, okay, you know, I don't know, again, like I can't give tips on what to do or how to fix that, but I am starting to hear like, okay, I can hear what a good mix sounds like, what a bad, and what maybe a not so good mix potentially sounds like. I'm starting to kind of think of it in that way. I don't know if I could tell you like a good from a great mix, but I could certainly tell you what a good and a bad mix is.
And that's the thing. Like if you can't tell a good, if I put two mixes side by side and the mix is good and the mix is great, like to me as an engineer, I would tell that person, bro, don't come to me. Like,
Right.
you know, like there's no point in paying me to make the song that much better when, like, I guess if you really want to completely maximize your potential, but like when I would like, I've had people hit me up and be like, yo, like I respect the business, but I also want to learn on my own. Like, can you give me tips? Like, I'm sorry if this is crossing any boundaries, like, cause like I'm charging them to come to me for a mix. And like, bro, I go on YouTube and give away my whole like process, like, cause I also have YouTube videos on it. And like, I was like, I'd rather see if I was like starting out like I was a year ago and like I had someone like me, like pretty much like give me free tips all the time on how to get started and show me exactly what to do. Like it's a cheat code. So like, I'm not, that's the thing with Boston music too, is that a lot of people are like very cutthroat and like they don't want to help the neighbor next door that makes music because they think I want to be the guy that comes from Boston. Like I want to be the next Joyner. And it's like, what, like in LA, people realize there's plenty of room for everybody because everybody's from LA. So nobody's worried about the competition because it's like every second there's a new artist from that area. But like for us, it sucks because there's no new artists. So like I have the opposite mindset where like I realize that, and then I'm like, me giving this guy free tips and like kind of maybe losing a quick mix purchase is like not a big deal, because like I know that like they'll probably just be better off me telling them the tip than having them come to me every time, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Some people can't afford it. Like
Exactly.
some people just can't afford to pay people to do stuff, and they want to like work hard and learn it themselves. So like that's why I'm totally cool with helping people out like that.
No, and that's why like I'm so glad that you're doing the little mini series with us too, because it's in the same breath, and like, you know, we're the same thing, dude. Like I agree. You make such a good point where you have to think of it that way. Like if the music quality in Boston increases, everyone's gonna get, you know, everyone's gonna eat from that. Everyone's going to benefit if we all sound better.
Yeah, like
you know
if you think that you're gonna be the guy that's the king of Boston, like you're weird. Like it's like a weird narcissistic mentality that you can have, because like music is all about money. Like you can't, unless you
the industry
you won't pop off. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can't pop off and be the guy of Boston without signing a record deal. Like you can't be like even like people like Kyle Bent and like these like other dudes that work with these big, they are big artists. Like you need to to a point in order to go mainstream but still be in Boston, like Stiz and people like that. Like it's about how much marketing is behind you and stuff like that, because clearly all of us underground artists know like there's a lot of people among us that are really, really talented.
Yeah.
And like I know so many people that could just easily put out, like Cronin, for example, like he's just a natural at making catchy songs. Like he could be the next Boston guy any second now, but do I think he's gonna be tomorrow? No, because you have to, it's not just as easy as putting out a song and everybody listening to it. Like it does take some industry push, and like that's what sucks. But like that's why I'm not trying to knock down other people and like be like I want it to be me, because like I'm not trying to go down that aisle, you know, of like I want to get a record deal so that I can be the guy, and then your whole life ends up flipping upside down. You know, I'd rather just like chill with the music homies and like just like make good music. Like I'm now seeing a little bit more where the Boston music scene is starting to become more for the culture. Not it hasn't come all the way around, but I definitely, at least the people that I work with and the artists I work with, I feel like I'm starting to see that there's a mentality here where it's like they're almost like enough is enough. Like let's just work together, and instead of everyone trying to fight each other to get to that top spot. I mean, hey, and if that's your mentality, like, you know, you do you. Like I'm not sitting here bashing anybody for their, you know, the way they move or the way that they're trying to, you know, get to their spot. But it's I guess define their level of whatever success they think is. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, we all are kind of a part of this community, and there, like you said, there's so much talent here. And if, you know, that's kind of like why, you know, we do what we do, because, you know, I've said this a bunch of times on this podcast, or on different episodes, but I really believe in the scene here. And and it took me basically until June of 2019 to really start embedding myself within it, and not only embedding myself, but really like opening up to the scene here and listening to what we have, you know, in Boston. Really, I even like saying, I hate saying even Boston now. I like Massachusetts or even New England, right? Because there's so much. You know, there's so much I'm not even close. I'm like an hour away from Boston. So.
Right, exactly, right. And same with me. Like I'm 35 minutes outside Boston. It's not like I am a Boston podcast. I mean, like when you think Massachusetts, you think Boston. Like if you know, but I'm in a suburb of Boston. Not that I haven't lived, you know, on the outskirts of Boston and things like that in the past. And you know, I love Boston for what it is. But you know, a lot of artists that, you know, Boston artists, they're not really from Boston. You know what I'm saying? They're from maybe like a suburb of Boston or maybe, you know, a different part of Boston. But you know, the like I said, the scene here, it's ever growing. There's so much talent, and I feel like people need to understand that, like exactly what you're saying. If we can all lift each other up, help each other out, it's just going to make it more of a collaborative place. And the problem is like, if we're all fighting and we're all pushing, garbage, like we have been for, at least, in my history and what I've kind of learned about the scene, it's like, that's really what it's been. We're kind of pushing the crap to the top, and like, we're not really all helping each other out. And the people that are, like in the middle and the below that, don't have the industry push or the promotional marketing luxuries that a lot of artists have. But there have been a lot of artists from this area that have done well and really done well for themselves, like a guy like Millie's, and you mentioned Cousin Stiz. Just Juice is another guy, but a lot of these guys had to leave and go somewhere else. Stiz is in LA
to pull some of that traction.
In New York.
Yeah. To pull some of that traction, like it's tough to just get that natural traction here.
Right. And again, it's no knock on those guys. Like, I mean, they're great artists.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm moving. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're going to Austin, so it's just like, and dude, which we even talked about, but like but I think though, if you're from here, you'll always still kind of, it's one of those cities and states. If you're from here, I've
never been a big, like, because I'm not in an area where a lot of people make music. Like, most people I collab with, like Cronin, Wex, like all of them, they are like more north-ish shore.
They're like Salem, right?
Yeah,
Cronin's
like
a Salem
like
guy?
Northwest and north. So it's like way out there because I'm South Shore. Right. So like it's like the opposite sides of Boston for me. So it's like there's no way that I can just be like cool, I'm just gonna take a drive up there. Like, why would I do that when we literally like raid a group chat, like us and Questions too. He's another dope artist from Clinton.
He's on that Way Up song, correct?
Yep.
With
he's
you guys?
the third. He's the third verse. So yeah, like all of us, like we just collab and like make a ton of songs, like, which actually we have like 2 songs I think that we haven't put out yet that are like fire. Dope. But all 4 of us on it.
Oh,
so
sick.
Yeah, it's cool. But like we just do shit like that from our bedrooms, like, because we all have like somewhat of an engineering background, except Wex is starting to learn a little bit. He's on the beginner side for sure. But me, Questions, and Cronin, we all mix our own music. So it's like we literally just like bounce back and forth, like all these song ideas. We ask each other our opinions, and it's just like, it's more like fun. Like, we don't really think about it like, I hope my song gets more streams than Cronin's or Wex's, or, like we're not weird like that. Like, we just are like just cool friends. Like, it's how we want it to be. Yeah,
it should be a collaborative space. And again, like, I think that, I don't know what it's going to take for the Boston, or really the Massachusetts, New England scene, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it's going to take to get us nationally recognized or what that is. But I mean, like, I mean, all the artists I've had on this show, like, I'm just, one, so impressed, and two, just like, not only that, but I've really truly become fans. Like, I almost find myself listening to more Massachusetts-based artists now than I almost do with the mainstream stuff, or not the mainstream stuff,
same.
But like the quote-unquote popular music.
I have like all my boys' music like in my
I listen to
playlist, so.
I mean, oh my God, it's like you, Red Shades, Zafir, Cameron Iandolo. Like, there's just so many. Washi, Trevi. Like, the list could go on and on and on. Hero the MC.
Yo, you know who's fire that I actually knows that you're like close with? I didn't even realize. So this is a funny story. Heath 240.
Oh, dude, that's my guy. That's my fucking guy.
I had a session with him.
Oh, no way.
At the studio. So at the studio I worked at, I had a session with him. I didn't actually mix the it's Nina, right? That's what he named. That's what the session was called. That's what I remember.
Yep.
Yeah. So he just put that out.
Yep.
So
fire
I remember. Song. Yeah, it's fire. So I remember he came in. He is one of the nicest dudes I've ever met in my life. He came in. He's like, "Hey man," like, just like shook my hand. It was so. Actually, no, I don't think he shook my. I think it was during Corona, but he was super like greeting, and like he was dope. But what was funny was he was sitting there after he recorded or like he sent over like trumpet stems for another song or something. Mm-hmm. And I was doing my thing, and then all of a sudden I could hear in the booth, because like he wasn't allowed in the control room for our studio policy for Corona. He was in the booth just on his phone, like playing videos and stuff. And then he scrolled by, and then all of a sudden Fade Away started playing. And then I was like, what the hell? Why? I was like, I clicked the talk back button. I was like, yo, what are you watching right now? And then he must have thought I was like some nosy weirdo. And then he was like, oh, I'm just on Instagram. And I was like, no, I know, but like whose post was that you just listened to? And then he was like, oh, it's my boys' turntable teachers. And I was like, that's so funny because that's my song. And then he was like, wait, what? I was like, no, that's like what you're listening. That is my song. He's like, really? And I was like, yeah, like I was on their playlist. And he was like, oh, that's funny. Like I didn't even realize. So that's quick story. But that's
no, I'm glad you said it because I want to say it was like about a week and a half ago now. Like I said, he and I are close. We talk all the time. He sends me unreleased stuff all the time. Like that's the beauty. That's actually been the beautiful thing about this whole like. I get so much like I'm like a kid in a candy store, right? Except Literally. My email is the candy store, right? Everyone's sending me like unreleased stuff, and I'm just like, yes, let's go. Like it's so dope. But so we have a good relationship, like he, you know, and things like that. So I'm really big avid hiker. I love hiking.
I saw that. I saw you post about it. Like you two together.
Yeah, dude. So so this is actually a funny story. We actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you came up in conversation because we did the hike. I brought him on one and we had a lot of fun. It was great. And then we're driving home from New Hampshire and just, you know, we're just playing music. Like on the ride up, we didn't really like listen to music. We were just shooting the shit. And then on the way home, like we were kind of gassed, obviously. So we're listening to music and he's showing me a few things. I'm like playing some stuff and I played New Love. And he was like, and he stopped and he goes, is this guy like, what's the studio you work at again? What was it again?
The Mix Loft.
What is it?
The Mix Loft.
Mix Loft. Okay. He goes, yeah, that's exactly what he asked. He goes, does he work at Mix Loft or something like that? He thought your name was something else, but he was like, no, I definitely know this dude. I had a session, not a session with him, but I met him or blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So when I was playing New Love, he's like, yeah, this dude's music's awesome. Like I fuck with it heavy. So and cool. I was just like, funny. He's like,
I take that to heart. He's dope. So I love that.
I can't believe I didn't even just include him in that list. Heath, I apologize. I'm so sorry. But in that initial list, he should have been toward the top. Even like my producer Sam, he loves Heath 240. Like he loves a lot of the artists that we work with and that we promo for. But like Heath's one of his probably favorites for sure. So he's such a good artist, such a great guy. Big shout out to him.
Definitely a nice guy. Like that's what I got out of meeting him. Was like a lot of the, no offense to some of the clients that go there, but some of the people, like it's when you're working with people, like in any job, it's like you clearly like bump heads like with people. It's I haven't necessarily bumped heads with someone like an argument, but like I've just been rude to like because I'm technically like they're paying me to do stuff for them. Right. So it's just the relationship and like so like. It was really refreshing having a client come in and be like so excited to work with me and like happy when he had no idea who I was, you know. Right.
That's just his personality so cool. though, man. You know, like he's just that kind of dude, you know. So sure. He's the best. And anybody that I forgot, obviously, like you know, it's just in the moment. I'm not remembering, but no, there's anybody I've had on this show, obviously, especially if you're from Massachusetts. I know we've gone a little bit outside the Massachusetts realm lately, but no, like I said, and that is actually a beautiful thing where like I'm probably forgetting a ton of artists, right? And like that I'm not thinking of at the moment. That's a testament to what we have here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like there's so much here, man, and it's a beautiful artists. Thing. And I think that we have, you know, the talent is here, and the people that I've met here, like all the people I mentioned too, like they're just such good human beings too. Like I've had such amazing conversations with these people. Jay Faith's another guy too. I forgot him too. Like, and even these are people I'm working with now. Another one that knows you too that has come across. He was just on the show. He just released Phoenix. As of today, I believe. No, yesterday. Phoenix Rios.
Phoenix is nice. I listen. I saw that he was releasing, and I was like, bet like it's an album, and like me being me now. Not before, because old me would have been like, all right, I like this song, and I'll just skip the rest. Like I DM'd him specifically. I knew I didn't have time to listen right then and there, but I wanted him to know because I know what it's like when you put out an album, like you're scared shitless that nobody's gonna listen to all the songs, and like made sure he knew, like, I will listen all the way through. Like, I'm not going to listen right now because I'm busy right now, but like, I want you to know that I'm going to listen all the way through. And I did. And like, I loved it. And he has such awesome bars. And like, he's actually, I met him in person because he went to a studio in Amherst. I think it's called Northfire. Yeah. I interned there for a little bit. I forgot the name because I was there for such a short amount of time. I was like a month or something, but yeah, it's a Northfire. And he went there with his boy Nick. The beat name is Atlantic Beats. So basically, he engineered his other project, and I would sit in because I was a new intern. So like Nick would run sessions and I would go, and Phoenix was there, so I met him, and he was just such a like cool, like just like super outgoing guy, and he had a cool rap style, and I just loved what he had to say, like lyrics wise. So it was cool listening through.
I just was on the phone with him last night for like an hour and a half. We were talking. He's actually spoiler actually for the listeners. If you've made it this far in this episode, Phoenix Rios is actually going to be working with us now as a podcaster, as a B mic. So
cool. Let's go.
So I'm really pumped. Yeah, he did such a good episode. I felt like it just, and he's just such an intelligent, intellectual guy.
Yeah, he knows his shit about, like, I don't know my shit about hip hop. Like, I will never act like I do. Like, right. I know I've listened to a lot of artists, like, and like I know the basics, but like when it comes to like super deep like discography knowledge and stuff like that, like I don't know if he necessarily knows discography stuff, but like just as an example, I'm not that good at that type of stuff, remembering everybody's discography and stuff like that. But
that's my bread and butter. But
yeah, exactly. I know just by listening to him and like the way he talks about music and stuff like that, I know that he's a big fan of hip hop. Right. And like he has a very strong passion for hip hop.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Well, but it's just funny. So we were talking. He told me the exact same story, basically, about meeting you. So
that's dope. That's awesome.
Yeah, literally, he was, because I mentioned that you were. I was actually interviewing you today, obviously, and he was like, "Hex, no way." He's like, "I love that dude." He's like, blah. He's like, "I met him at exactly what you said, the Northfire, the studio in Amherst." So yeah, dude, the world is funny. It's a small one.
It's like, right? That's what we need. Like, just like people be like, "Oh, I fuck with that dude." Like, instead of being like, "Oh yeah, his music's alright." Like,
no,
like,
he
dude,
genuinely was like excited. He was like, "No way." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You've been doing some work for us and blah blah blah." Like I was telling him, he's like, "Oh, this is just great." I was just like, "Yeah, I know. It's fucking great." Like I was like, "I love all you guys," you know. But anyway, no. So, in terms of, like I said, your engineering, obviously you have your Mixed by Hex, new business or slash Instagram page or service. I'll call it whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna link that in the description as well. So if you're an artist listening to this and you're not somebody that wants to learn how to do it yourself, you have the wherewithal to and the means to pay somebody to do it. This is the man to do it. So make sure you guys go check out his page, inquire about his services for mixing, mastering, engineering, all that good stuff. And yeah, if you're someone that wants to learn how to do it yourself, go to listen to his YouTube videos and learn there, or start following our mixing tips with Hex mini series through our Right Mind segment of our podcast. So that so either way, no excuse. Plenty of opportunity here to get this man.
Anything involving engineering, like I probably have some sort of values for you. So
I love it.
Hopefully I can help people out with that.
Absolutely, yeah. So make sure you guys hit this guy up for all your services. And like I said, I'm really glad we were able to talk about the Massachusetts music scene and some amazing artists. One more artist that that knows Phoenix, actually UMass guy too, Taha the Phoenix. He's another artist.
Oh, okay. So I haven't actually met or listened to his stuff, but I do know of him because it like came up in conversation when I met Rios. Was that at the studio they kept saying Phoenix, and I was like confused because like it was like as if they were talking about him in the third person or something, like as if he wasn't right there, like when we were having a conversation. And then I was like, what do you mean? Like I was like confused. Like I asked, like, is his name Phoenix? His name is Phoenix Rios, right? Like I was like confused, and he was like, oh yeah, it's another guy. And I was like, oh okay. So that's how I know of him too.
He's got a project coming out the end of the month. I haven't listened to it yet. He's sending it to me soon, hopefully. So hopefully I'll get my hands on it soon. But his last project that just came out, Breath of the Phoenix, dude, like it's a little bit more experimental hip hop, but dude, there's some stuff on there that is just like, it's like next level, like creative, like experimental. Like
shit.
you gotta just go listen to it. I can't even explain it. It's like
So
more
what
like
is it?
alternative hip hop.
Taha the Phoenix?
Taha. TAAH,
T-A-H-A?
and that's it. That's it. Yeah, Taha, and then Breath of the Phoenix is the album.
Breath of the Phoenix. Cool. Yeah. I'll
Really
definitely
good.
check that out.
Lately is the track. That's my favorite song, but there's
That's
a lot
yours.
of great songs on
For
that
sure,
thing.
yeah,
So
I'll give that a
he's a
listen.
fantastic artist. Another just great dude. I
Yeah.
don't know how I forgot him. See, I'm telling you, there's so much
can't-
out there. I'm
There's
forgetting these dudes.
That's like, well, that means you know your shit too, is that you got a lot of artists that you're like fans of.
Oh, even the Van Buren camp, all those guys. I mean, I could go through and name all those guys, but like even them, like there's like I said, there's just so much here and so much to love. And there's a big shout out to the Boston music scene and Massachusetts music scene. And, you know, obviously like, you know, I want all of you to succeed. I want you all just to you know, get to where you want to be and any way that we can help.
Even if I don't even if I don't even come close to making it, like if someone makes it, like the coolest shit is like looking back on like famous people and like seeing their come up and stuff like that shit, and like ignites me, because it's like I've never heard a story that isn't unique. Like everybody is like, you see people that come up from rich families, from middle class, from poor families,
Exactly.
like different household like struggles, different household privileges.
Yeah.
Like everybody, there's someone who's made it from every category. I had a song and I said, nobody comes from something. No matter what, everybody has their own journey. Like nobody comes from something. Everybody has to do their own like journey, you know? And like, so yeah, like when I see other people win, like it's like watching one of those like before they were famous YouTube videos, like in real life.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
it's cool. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree, man. And it's like you said too, I think you said this a little earlier, but you know, really similar, where it's like everyone too is like fighting a personal battle you don't really know about, right? Regardless of what that is and about them. So, you know, like you said, everyone's got their own journey, everyone's got their own path, everyone's got their own really just vision for what they see as success. And then, yeah, everyone's just kind of like, again, fighting their own, you know, demons or personal battle, whatever that is. And it's just important to recognize that. And yeah, if we just work together, man, collaborate, I think that's going to be the biggest thing. I'm happy. I think I got into the scene at the right time, because I'm kind of just from an outside perspective, kind of witnessing a lot of the collaboration that's happening. And I'm just happy to see it and to be a part of it and to be able to, you know, be a platform for people to come on here and talk about it and talk about their stories. Right. So like, I mean, that's been the beautiful thing about this show is having people on talking about real shit, like real stories they've been through and getting deep with it. And it's just so, you know, like I said, it's been a really beautiful thing. And just like this episode has been, man. So it's been a lot of fun, man. And I wanted to talk to you real quick too about, you know, I think we had this conversation off air, but you know, seeing music as entrepreneurship, really, like I know a lot of people, like, you know, you see it as a creative outlet potentially, but there's really a lot of entrepreneurship in that within music. And I think you're somebody that's seeing that as well. So, you know, what are you kind of doing your everyday life to, you know, kind of grow as an entrepreneur in the music industry? I know that's something that you and I have kind of discussed off air, but would love to hear you kind of, you know, talk about it as well on air.
Yeah, I've read more. That is the biggest thing. Is I haven't read a lot, because I have very short term, a very short attention span. But
as the world does right now, but dude, this is this consumerism world we live in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality. So,
and like I've been taking that consumerism mentality and putting it towards consuming more knowledge, which sounds like the cheesiest thing, the corniest thing ever, but like it's facts. Like if you want to make any money, like I said before, the only way to make money as an artist is to be funded. Like you can't, like streaming, you get like literally like a piece of candy corn per stream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like nothing. So it's like you have to like kind of be creative with how you want to get your money, and like unless you want to work full time. and do it. Like there's no real way to make a living unless you make it. So like the thing with entrepreneurship in music is like, for example, me, like I started learning a skill like production and engineering outside of being an artist, with knowing that no matter what happens with me as an artist, that's like in my brain now. So like I can always use that as leverage to make money. And like, so that's what goes back to books, for example, like reading more and like consuming more knowledge. Cause like, this is the shit that like it won't break. Mm-hmm. Like you have to realize that like eventually like you need to know how to make your own money. And then I've been doing that, and also joining groups. So like not groups, it's more like one group that I've joined, but I think I sent you, I don't know if I sent you the link, or like I told you to hit the link in the guy's bio or something, but basically it's this business called Thrive on Life, and shout out CJ Finley and Hamza Abdullah, the GOATs. They're two people from Austin. Pretty much their goal, like what everybody has their own thing that like puts a smile on their face. And like a lot of business owners, it's like creating something special. And for them, it's like more than that. It's creating something for young entrepreneurs in the creative industry, which is like very like, it's like a stigma. Like you can't make money in music. You can't make money painting. You can't make money as a photographer. Like you can't make real money with that shit. You're either here or you're here when it comes to those things. There's no middle ground. And like they are the people that bridge those people that aren't making anything to people that are making tons of money. Like they are that bridge. So basically what they do is like it's like not an accountability group, but it's like they pretty much like give free value. Like it's like a Facebook group, but like on a different app, and like they teach you things like about business. For example, like I mix, so like all the tips I take from them are service-based stuff, and like they pretty much teach you how to become an entrepreneur and make your own money without a boss. And like that's the biggest thing when you're so in love with this shit. It's like everybody's goal is to do it without their other job, and the only way you can do that is by learning from people that have that knowledge and have that higher ground when it comes to like knowing how to make money that way. So that's been my thing, is like joining groups like that, where like you see so many other people in the group that are going through the same thing as you, and they can tell you their experiences about that certain problem you're having or shit like that. It's like very helpful. And so definitely like consuming knowledge, mostly now through books, because like that's where the tangible shit is. and feeling accountable from peers and other people who know more than you.
Well, I'm so glad you said reading, because I'm an English teacher, as you know, right? So
yeah,
read like that. It's almost a lost thing, even for me. Like as an English teacher, as somebody that majored in English, and as somebody that has kind of a literature background, I personally don't feel like I do enough reading myself. I think it's because I'm kind of doing a lot of different things, but it's something that I even have to kind of check myself on every once in a while. Like, am I reading enough? But I do like a lot of article reading, and I do a lot of, just kind of just reading things online and through whether it's podcasting or about music or, whatever it is, that I'm kind of interested in. But no, I agree. I think you said so many great things, even if it's not the Thrive on Life guys, which I personally, I haven't looked into too much yet. You sent it to me. I really want to look into it, because I think it's going to be important for me and just our brand to join some kind of group like that. But yeah, I agree. Like no matter what you love and what you're passionate about, like figure out knowledge, figure out new ways to learn information and collaborate with different people and learn from people. It's so important. Like one of my tattoos that I've said this before, and it's like this. It's like a two hands overlapping. It's like a symbol of two hands overlapping, and what it's basically supposed to symbolize is that everyone you come in contact with, they learn from you just as much as you learn from them. Like learning is a constant flow of knowledge, and it's an energy that consistently just continues. And I think it's so important for people to realize that you can never
Yeah.
stop learning. There's never enough to not learn about. And yeah, if you're serious about being an entrepreneur or learning, like I said, like how to be your own boss, like these are things you have to know. You have to just kind of immerse yourself within it. So no, I love a lot of the things you said. I think it's really important to find those outlets and find those resources that are going to get you where you want to be. So
Absolutely.
yeah, for sure. Hex, you've been phenomenal on this episode. Thank you so much for everything. This has been so great.
Thank
You're
you.
not quite off the hook yet, though. All right.
Aight.
As obviously the last question is coming. Fans of the show, you already know it's coming. All right.
Yes,
We got the
sir.
dream song scenario.
Yeah.
It's here. The fan favorite of really, this is my favorite question. I love this one. I love hearing like what people would or artists would do if they could do any song they wanted. So I'll structure it for you. Hex, you get a song and you can make it with anybody you want, dead or alive, doesn't matter. I'll structure it for you. You get a producer, someone to produce the song. You can get a couple different producers too. Maybe you want to produce it since you're kind of a producer. You want to collaborate with a different producer or engineer if there's someone out there that you would want to collaborate with if you so chose to produce the song. And then you get a hook. All right, so you get somebody to do the hook, and you get 2 guest verses, and then you get a verse. So however you want to structure that, totally up to you. But again, traditional song, 3 verses, a hook, producer, and anybody you want, dead or alive, who is on that dream song. I'll give you as much time as you need to think about it.
All right.
Go.
So I'll start with artists because that's probably the easiest because producers are going to be tough. There's a lot of good ones out there. But I know my core fandoms. So as an artist, you said 3 verses and a hook.
So you get a verse, and then
Yep.
there's 2 guest verses
and
to the
someone
verse,
singing the
and then
hook.
a hook. Yeah, so you get three in total. 3
All right,
artists.
so I would say for a verse, I would want Drake for a verse. For another verse, I can't decide because Kid Laroi, I would want because if I'm gonna be in the song, like I feel like those two guys they're completely different styles. Like Drake is way more is more R&B influenced hip hop, but Kid Laroi is more alternative influenced hip hop and melodic hip hop. But for both of them, it's they both have just such sick styles that I think would go really well together.
I think so too.
And so that would make a unique song. So them 2, and I would say them 2 on the verses, with me, and then on the hook, Juice WRLD makes some fucking catchy hooks.
Ooh.
So I'd say Juice and plus Juice and Leroy, they have that relationship. So
Yeah, and I always wondered what Juice and Drake would sound like on a song. So that would be interesting.
that's so crazy to me. Because like I said, I don't have a big hip hop knowledge, but I don't think they have a collab. So for producers, I would want Nick Mira for sure. He's nasty at the Leroy Juice WRLD style. Him and Juice WRLD, he was the one that produced for Juice WRLD's pop off songs, so it would have to be him. And I would also say
It's tough.
so I don't
There's so
even
many
know his
options.
full name, but whoever produced the last Leroy album, it's Khalid, I forget his last name. He is nasty. All of his everything he did on that album was even you if you watch the behind the scenes videos, he snapped on the keys and shit for same thing on Leroy's album, and he was just crazy. So I think that him bringing he has more of a raw sound than Nick Mira. Nick Mira is more electronic sounding, but he definitely has a super raw style. So I would say him, and Boy Wonder is Drake's main guy, so I think he would snap on that too. So yeah.
Ooh, okay, all right, I
Them
like that.
3.
I'm trying to figure out who the actual producer was that just did. So is it the Fuck Love album that just came out?
Yeah, it's Khalid from something. I don't even know. I think he's from Australia too.
Oh,
yeah.
Khaled Rohim?
Yep.
Raheem, something like that.
Dude.
If we're pronouncing that wrong, I apologize. I don't know if he'll ever listen to this.
Yeah.
Probably not. But like maybe someday,
No,
right?
like
So
he crazy. Like running, like him and Han, which is like Leroy's DJ. Like they produce that, and like it's not my favorite song on the album, but like as far as production, like all like the drum fills and shit.
yeah.
And, like, they made it feel so big, which is like, I guess like making shit feel big is like more on the engineering side, but like just the sound selection, that song was like off the charts. So like definitely, yeah, I let him, he would make some bangers for us. And then as far as engineering, I would want one engineer to touch my song, and that would be Mixed by Ali, which is Kendrick's main engineer, and same thing with Roddy Ricch and Corday. It's like all those guys go to him. Like he is like the dude in hip hop.
Sweet.
And Alex Toomey, if there was co-engineering, I'd say him too. He's Young Thug's engineer. So yeah, those two engineers, those three producers, and those four artists, including me.
I love it, man. Hex
Facts.
featuring Drake, Kid Laroi, and Juice WRLD, produced by Boy Wonder, Nick Mira, Khalid Rohim, and engineered by Mixed by Ali. Is that correct?
Yep.
Perfect. That would be the dream song for Hex. I like it a lot, man. And yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm a fan of Kid Laroi too. I think I picked him as like when we did like a our freshman, like I reviewed the XXL freshman cover for this year and like picked my own freshman, and he was one that I'm surprised he got left off. I thought he would be somebody that would definitely make it just because of what
I think he's gonna next year, because like I feel like he just started dropping, like, other than his song when he was like before he even hit puberty, like he has a song called Blessings, but like Let Her Go was December, I think it was last December.
That makes sense.
So
then
it's
probably
like
already had it like picked out before
he only has like 6 singles or something, like nothing.
True.
Like, yeah.
True.
So.
No, that song's Selfish on that album. That's
nasty.
Dude,
that's my favorite song on the album.
Me too.
Joy,
That's my
I don't even know
favorite,
who Joy is. I looked it up. Joy is the girl that's singing in the background. Like those are her vocals stacked.
Oh.
Like,
no way.
Like the way what she wrote. I'm pretty sure she was the one that wrote her own vocal melody, but because she's listed as a producer on it.
Okay.
That melody in the background is just so sick. Like
so
just
good.
So sick. Yeah.
So good. Well, I mean, that's funny that she's, because I've listened to her
really
quite a bit. Oh no, I'm thinking of different Joy. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
There's another Joy, J-O-I.
Oh yeah. I think she's just J-O-Y period or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So the J-O-I has worked with like Big Crit actually on that project right there. So that's why I was like, oh no way, that's very versatile of her, but different Joy. But yeah, I just checked. But either way, like, no, he's next, I think, or not even next. Like he's kind of arrived. I feel like he's that perfect.
He's got some new shit coming.
That perfect blend of emo, rap, pop. He's got it all.
Yeah, he has a new Lyrical Lemonade video coming soon. So.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, so he's already starting to roll out his next project, which is crazy. So.
Dude, these guys, they just push.
I know that's all you can do nowadays. Like, think about Kendrick. When was the last? I feel like Kendrick hasn't dropped in since the Black Panther album, but like that wasn't even like really like his album. Count. You know what I'm saying?
Damn was 2017.
Yeah, like I was in high school. That's crazy.
Or I think 2017. Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah, 2018 was Black Panther. So.
Right, so that makes sense. But different kind of artist. I feel like though. I feel like Kendrick's albums are so much more like.
So much work goes into that shit.
Yeah,
you can tell like all like the like how like all the beat switches and like the amount of soul that's in the songs and shit.
Exactly.
Like, you can't pump that out in a day for sure.
No, there's a lot of craftsmanship. Not that there's not craftsmanship with Kid Laroi stuff, but it's a little bit more.
He freestyles most of his shit. Kid Laroi freestyles most of his shit.
There you go.
So like that's like there's this like clearly Kendrick's not in the booth just like being like, all right, throw on a beat, like.
Exactly. He's
probably,
so much more.
I feel like he's more meticulous.
Oh, meticulous, calculated, all that stuff. But I mean, that's what makes Kendrick, right? I mean, what makes his projects. Even like he does the conceptual stuff, right? He's like actually considering like what, certain, even just a placement of songs. Like he really tells a story. So
yeah, exactly.
But I love Kid Laroi for a lot of different reasons. I think he's somebody that definitely is.
Dude's 17 years old. It's crazy.
I know. he's got staying
Crazy.
power. I think he's going to be around for quite a while. So
Yeah.
But hey, it would be hell of a song. I think it would definitely be a smash. I think you
Yes.
got you got all the right elements to make that dream song a reality. So hey, maybe someday, right? You know, that's what
Yeah,
I always
exactly.
say with this. I'm like, if it was ever my dream, my goal is to make a mixtape of all the dream songs I've had on these shows. So
That'd be sick.
that would be my life's work. We'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
anyway, Hex, thank you so much for being here, man. This was such a good episode. I really appreciate you. Give a lot of people here a lot of knowledge and insight, not only to, you know, your own music, but just, you know, entrepreneurship and mixing and mastering and engineering and telling a lot of your story. And you know, obviously we had a lot of laughs and we have a lot of just people, like mutual people we know and,
Yeah.
and have met. So it just made for a great conversation. So I totally appreciate you. Guys that are listening,
Thank
and
you
guys
so
and gals
much.
that are listening to our episode, fans of us, definitely make sure you check out this man. I mean, it's pretty clear by now after about an hour and some change that you know, he's somebody I think that's here to stay in the Boston, and really, well, he's about to move to Austin, so we'll still be
still a
we'll
Boston
still be
guy.
promoting
Family's
his,
at home, so
we'll still be promoting your stuff. No worries here. So
thank you.
but people, tell the people where they can find you, Hex. Where can they find you on Instagram and all that good stuff?
So for Instagram, it's ITS H3x. For my artist page, my mixing page is mixed by H3x. And then my website is mixedbyh3x.com. And yeah, that's basically it. I mean, like, I'm not really active on Twitter, but you can follow me. Same thing as my Instagram handle, but Twitter, nah. Instagram's popping.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Sounds good.
definitely, yeah, follow me on Instagram as my artist page for just cool. I do like remix content and shit like that. And then as far as mixing, follow my Instagram page and check out my website because I do give a free sample mix to start, so you can actually, before you actually pay me for the service, you can decide if it's worth your money. Like, that's the biggest thing, is when trusting people like me, you have no idea how it's going to come out, so you get to hear the final product before you actually pay for it, instead of paying up front. So definitely, if you're interested in that and hearing how you sound, check out my website for sure.
Awesome. We're going to link all that in the description for you guys as well. And if you are a fan of Hex, just coming to us for the first time, make sure you give us a follow at Turntable Teachers on Instagram. Hit up our website, www.turntableteachers.com, for all the latest blogs, podcast episodes, merch, and of course, in our catalog, we have, like I've said a couple of times on this episode, a brand new mini-series through our Right Mind segment of the show, Mixing Tips with Hex. Make sure that you stay tuned for those. There's going to be many more of those to come. We're probably thinking to drop those maybe once every 3 or 4 weeks or once a month, something like that. So we're going to start to really kind of push those out. The first one is already out. Make sure you guys go check that out as well if you are somebody that is looking into engineering or just somebody that's in the music industry and wants to learn more. And so make sure, I guess, like I said, head to our website, head to our Instagram, and follow us on YouTube, any podcast streaming service that you use. And once again, Hex, thank you so much for a fantastic episode. This was really great.
Thank you.
And best of luck with everything. We will obviously be in touch. And
Facts,
thanks again so much.
You're welcome, man. Thank you.
Of course. All right, well, I'm Mike. This is Hex with Turntable Teachers, and class is officially dismissed.
Turn.